All right, Bitcoin accumulation country, it's that time of the week again. I'm your host, Coin Icarus, and this is the Fun with Bitcoin podcast. We're in season 3. This is episode 35. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope you guys are having a great week. I just want to start off by, giving a quick shout out to a brand new sponsor, Crypto Cloaks, who does all kinds of 3D printing, Bitcoin coasters, lightning keychains, and of course, the infamous custom lightning shells. So don't forget to go and check out cryptocloaks.com. They are our brand new Fun with Bitcoin podcast sponsor, and I'm super happy to have them on as a sponsor. So we are going to be doing some cool stuff. We're eventually going to be doing some giveaways, and it's not going to involve, the BS retweeting and all that, because that's just annoying, okay? We're actually looking to, give something back to the listeners. Anyways, this week we are going to be talking to Mr. Swaala, and for the people who don't know who that is, he is a fellow Bitcoiner, and on Twitter you may recognize him as the red buckethead that kind of looks like marshmallow, but instead he's got a Bitcoin logo. Anyways, super cool dude, really fascinating story, and I'm super happy that we got together and got to sit down and have this little chat. So we will kick that off very shortly, but first we are going to talk about dollar cost averaging and Swan Bitcoin. For anybody who is interested in dollar cost averaging and who wants to be purchasing Bitcoin but doesn't want to be spending their time constantly watching the charts and listening to traders that they really have no idea whether these people are credible or not, and you kind of just want to put this in a passive sleep mode where you're simply just accumulating and hodling, being able to transfer that Bitcoin out to your own private address. So if you're interested in doing that and that falls in your wheelhouse, then you are looking for Swan Bitcoin. With Swan Bitcoin, the 3 main takeaways are we can do automatic withdrawal from a bank account, automatic purchases of BTC. You can time them based on your when you receive your check. You can do it let's say once you can do it once a month, or you can do it per pay period as well. There's lots of options for you to be able to customize how you purchase. And you could automatically withdraw to your chosen address. So if you're interested in a Bitcoin-only platform that is doing the great work of helping onboard people, then you definitely want to check out Swan Bitcoin. I'm going to have the link to their website in the show notes. All right, here is my discussion with Mr. Buckethead, Swaala. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me on the Fun with Bitcoin podcast. I'm your host, Coin Icarus, or Phil, and joining me is fellow Bitcoiner and plebe, Swaala. Swaala, it is very cool to have you on my podcast, man. We've chatted a lot back and forth. I always find your posts absolutely amusing. You're actually one of my favorite people on Bitcoin Twitter. I love the Buckethead because I am a huge Marshmallow fan. So, dude, it is really cool to have you on my podcast. Thank you.
G'day, how you going?
Very good. And
drop in the Australian g'day just to make sure that everyone notices.
That's right. You're from across the pond.
Yep. And it's morning here. It's 10 a.m. So.
Oh my gosh.
Nice and early.
Thank you so much, by the way. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know that we had some fun with the scheduling, so this was very cool.
It was hard. Very hard.
So, man, we are going to get right into it. I definitely want to know your rabbit hole story, but we can always start off with before, how did you get here now? Let's do it.
Well, I've thought many times about how this story was going to come up, but I think the first time I've ever heard about Bitcoin was a mate told me you could probably buy games on Steam. But I didn't know much about anything at that stage. I wasn't really playing that many Steam games. But I first really discovered it when someone sent me a screenshot of it for $3,000. And that's Australian. So it must have been 2,000 American. So it was already pretty high. I was like, how could a coin be this high when, you've got like dollars are like, about $1.50 or something like that. And you got yen for €100. But this thing's like $3,000. So it kind of blew my mind. And I went and tried to sign up on Coinbase, and I got instantly rejected. I think because I'm Australian, which sort of surprised me. So I let it go. That was back in May 2017, and I thought, no, I'm going to try this again. I mean, I went to America for a bit, and then I came back and said, okay, it's time now. And so I made my first purchase in November 2017, and I managed to get onto good old Coinbase, and I figured out it was because of my passport. So that was when I first bought. I needed my passport to be able to get engaged. The previous ID was always getting rejected.
So the KYC got you.
Yet KYC blocked me out.
That's rough, man. So
yeah, I could have bought it for $3,000, but yeah, well, I still did in the end, but I could have bought it originally for $3,000.
Oh my gosh. So when you said you were talking about games on Steam, what year was that about? Do you remember?
See, I reckon this must have been 2015 maybe.
Oh wow.
I don't know. I don't really know. It's only a faint memory.
Isn't it weird? Because time kind of changes, right, when you get into Bitcoin?
Yeah, well, at that time, I just thought it was another avenue of PayPal or something like that. I thought that you might have had like PayPal and Venmo and Bitcoin. They were just another brand. It was just another Apple, Google, Yahoo type thing. So I didn't actually think it was completely devoid of that.
So let me ask you this, because like, okay, so you heard about it through games, but do you have any, I mean, in terms of like your philosophy or anything like that, are you like libertarian, or like, is it like, did any of the, government censorship resistant properties, like, did that mean anything to you? Were you like...
I kind of came into that very green. I had no idea about all that sort of stuff. I was a little bit, I'm a little bit libertarian because I do like people to do whatever they want in general. But no, that really didn't draw me in. I kind of came into it from a technology perspective, I guess, because I've sort of just tried to look at technology all the time, and I'm always interested in what's coming out in the future. And so when I heard about Bitcoin and the way that it is actually, lots of futuristic elements, that was what drew me in and got me to really get deep into it. And it's sort of like those tangents to some degree. There was something else that kind of kept me in the place, because I've had a lot of drama with companies like Western Union in the past.
Mm.
So I used to transmit money here and there to people, and you had to go down, you had to write out full forms and stuff like that. You'd lose $20-$30 in transfer and then exchanges and stuff. And so when I came to this and I started to realize I can just have an asset and I could send it for less than $1 across the internet and it arrives overnight, because Western Union had to go down at between 9 and 5 and go make a payment when office hours were open. But this you can send at midnight, and it just made perfect sense. This was going to completely destroy so many markets.
Absolutely. And I also, I've used Western Union in the past, and it is absolutely annoying. It's annoying.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry. I get it, right? That's pretty much all we had available to us. But it's annoying. Yes. It's expensive.
Yes. I mean, to tell you the truth, Western Union was a godsend when I wanted to send it via bank to bank. Because when I wanted to send bank to bank, the fees were even higher and the exchange rates were even worse. So when I got told about Western Union and like those e-money sort of exchanges, I thought, okay, well, there's a significant reduction. You get it there in 15 minutes, which is better than 3 days. But when this came in, just blows that away.
Oh, absolutely. So you said that you ended up purchasing Bitcoin in 2017. So
yes.
So and you were on Coinbase. So I'm guessing, did you fall down the shitcoin rabbit hole?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. We all end up down there.
Yeah, because I mean, I was obviously on Coinbase. I stacked my first coin on Coinbase. I just I was at a dinner and I got the email saying you've been cleared, and I immediately like dumped hundreds of dollars in straight away. And after about 2-3 weeks, I was watching Antonopoulos on the Rogan show, and he was talking about pulling it out into a wallet. And so I went to pull it out in a wallet, and it cost me like 22 odd bucks.
To like what? To pull out all the shit coins?
To pull my Bitcoin out of Coinbase, because Coinbase still had legacy addresses, and they were just letting the fees go rampant. They didn't care. No batching or anything like that. So yeah, the fees at Coinbase were massive.
Yeah, that was and a lot of people pretended that those were on-chain fees, but really those were exchange fees. So Bitcoin fees did get high, but exchanges had a lot to do with it, and the fact that they didn't keep up with the tech.
There's no doubt from wallet to wallet wouldn't have been a problem, but it was the exchange. They want to appease the customer by getting it there as fast as possible, and so they will spend as much as possible to get it there and make them feel comfortable. That's kind of what it is, I guess.
Yeah, probably that, and the fact that they they get to rake in fees by the because you leave your money on there longer. And I could tell you that when I leave, if I leave, which I don't anymore, I haven't left any kind of Bitcoin on any exchange in many years. But when I did leave money on the exchange, it would all disappear into shitcoins, because that's the only thing there is there. It's the shitcoin casino,
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, we had I had an exchange in Australia which got its banking cut off, and so that was my first Australian exchange, and I wanted to go and get money into it because I saw obviously all the alts were popping off. It was like November, December, so everything was popping off at that stage, and sending out of Coinbase was pretty hefty. So naturally I converted to whatever's cheapest to convert and send it straight there. And I mean, obviously the fees were far lower for the shit coins, but there you go. So that's kind of what scoops you in, is the fact that you get hit a couple of times by the run, and you see all the shit coins pop up, and of course you get messy. The portfolio just gets absolutely out of control.
That's right. And then before you know it, you're down 98%. So
and you're chasing the losses.
That's right. So fuck Coinbase. But okay, so like, dude, I love the why the buckethead. I mean, you're an anon on Twitter. We just know you as the red Bitcoin buckethead, and you just make marshmallow Bitcoin.
Yes, well, back in 2018, my Twitter account actually pretty much had my face on it. And when I thought, okay, well, I want to get more involved in this space, I decided to change my face to like that Japanese symbol of like this. I think they call it "chu," which is basically a smiling sort of like expression on the keyboard. And after a while, I thought, okay, I don't think anyone's really noticing me because I'm just this little tiny like Japanese symbol, and it doesn't make much sense. And I was like really into marshmallow, obviously, and I thought, okay, well, this is a really, really good way for me to be able to get out from behind the actual just the image of a symbol. And so I went and created the bucket design, painted it, tried to put a big B in the eyes, and I mean, I got a bit of inspiration from. Sorry, I got really bad memory. What's his name? Who's that guy who draws heaps of sketches for everyone again?
Bitco.
Yeah, Bitco. Yeah, Bitco. I bought stickers from him as well. His design sort of semi-inspired my my bucket face as well as marshmallow. So that got me out from behind the shadows and out, so I could actually walk around and do stupid things and dance and stuff. So.
So hold on before we continue on this. Shout out to Bitco, because he makes a lot of avatars for us anons. and he's super cool, and he puts up with our demands. So shout out to him. But
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. And did he do your recent Darth Vader image too, or not?
yeah, and he's gonna do my remake because eventually I'm gonna have to use something other than Darth Vader. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, the other thing is too. Okay? So I'll ask a question to you.
oh, for
Do
sure.
you feel somewhat trapped behind the avatar and just wish you could kind of go out there and have a bucket on your head and do something stupid?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah. But like, it's like I don't know. I kind of like the avatar because then people just really judge you on what you put out there.
Yeah.
And just even like your buckethead, I mean, people just judge you by like what you put out there. But like I see some of these people, and I feel bad saying it because I'm sure maybe they're not really douchebags in real life, or maybe they are. But like you
Okay.
get those typical pictures of the people holding the chin, like
Oh yeah, yeah,
like the businessman look, like with the like he's holding the chin, like oh, he's got something
yeah.
smart that
And
he's thinking of, like those that looks so douchebaggy. So
yeah, and
I
there
think
was a few images came out with like Tone Vays and Trace Mayer where they all just had a black background and they would just square onto the camera.
yeah.
They all had that as well. But
So I mean,
yeah,
oh no, sorry, continue.
no. I was just going to say that yeah. I mean, I see there was so many times when I just had the image where I thought, I really want to go and do something really crazy and like, so I had to get something to give me a bit of a anonymous status and not put the bucket on. So,
Okay.
but you might feel it too.
So I gotta, well, I mean, for Twitter, I do feel it, but it'd be super awesome to be a non out there in real life. Um,
Yep.
but what I wanted to ask you about the Buckethead. Okay, so you made this all yourself?
Yes.
Very cool. So if you don't mind me asking about the materials, because of course I've looked this up on Amazon, and I know they have a marshmallow one, which is pretty cool. I've read the reviews, and I've thought of getting it, but like, is it worth making your own? Is it easy enough?
Yeah. Yeah. This was easy. Yeah. I obviously first looked at some of those YouTube videos where they make it themselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is all Bunnings. If most Americans don't know what Bunnings probably is, Bunnings is the biggest hardware here, and
Okay.
like they sell sausages out here up until this stupid virus. But yeah, no, it's basically just I think a 25-liter bucket. I got a worker's helmet inside there, and
Oh
I just
yeah.
cut the lid off the hat so that I could have a flat surface inside. It's just the actual felt the visor is basically just a what is it? I went to one of
Mesh.
the office places. I went to one of the office places and went and got a whole lot of clear plastic sort of liner that you can put files into, and I just cut it up and then glued it in there. And so everything is glued. Everything you would have seen about a month or two ago, everything just collapsed because my son got angry at me and threw it on the ground and everything smashed. But now I've got, now I've went and got like some, some of the most extreme glues. Like there's physically like about 5 mil of bulging glue, just bulging all over the helmet on the inside. So.
Dude,
Yeah.
you rock, man. I love it. I think it's so awesome. I love that you customize it for Bitcoin. I think it's cool as hell. So
Yeah, but there are days when I think, should I have made the eyes straight or should I have just kept it angular? And I kept it angular because I wanted to make sure you could actually see the B.
yeah.
If it was just straight up sideways, it would have looked like that. Those Satoshi glasses where they wear sunglasses. It looks dorky square. So
Yeah.
I made it angular.
No, I think you got it totally right.
Yep.
I think the angle totally makes it even look that much cooler.
Yes.
It's like
good.
Yeah, absolutely. I love stuff like that. You're motivating me to maybe make my own. So we'll see.
I don't recommend walking around at night.
No, I'm sure not. Especially not now.
I posted a video just a few nights ago, but you wouldn't have seen it on this account. I posted a video a few nights ago where I wore my black helmet and I was walking in the dark and there was bushes ahead and I couldn't see a thing. I don't recommend it.
Oh god. Well, I hope you're okay.
Oh, I was fine.
Okay,
I was fine.
good.
I was fine, but no one saw the video. My other account's all quiet.
So you have a super secret non-Swaala video?
Well, yeah, I mean, I
So-
look, I don't really care about making a secret anymore, to tell you the truth, because it was an original idea which I guess didn't really get much traction. People seem to like drama, and they seem to like, they like seeing sex, and they like seeing people say Bitcoin's going to go to $5 billion, but they don't like things which are kind of like kind of more technical. And so I went and created an account where I just wanted to talk strictly about wallet security and like like keeping your keys for your kids and all that sort of stuff. But no one seems to even care about it. So
oh wow, very cool. Yeah, no, it's true. It's a much smaller subsection. Okay, of like you're gonna get like obviously there's a lot of hardcore Bitcoiners and they want to talk about that. But the majority.
It's not as sexy.
Sorry?
It's not as sexy.
No, it's not. It's definitely not as sexy. But I mean, to people, to people like us, I mean, I personally find it somewhat sexy. It's definitely cool. But I can tell you, for the people that we see on Twitter these days, with like the crypto whoring, those people just, they just need you to like and retweet and follow them. So
they're just chasing dopamine.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, to some degree also, when I see people like constantly retweet the what do you call it, the stock to flow ratio and stuff like that, I think that a lot of people, they don't really think. There's probably a lot of people who go, yeah, it makes all perfect sense, but I think a lot of people just go, ooh, means I'm going to get $1 million. They're addicted to the sex of that too, So
it is. I mean, look, in the infamous words of Aoi, it's Hopium, and don't get me wrong, it's some good Hopium. Like that is some good stuff. But I know exactly what you mean. I am also don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of 100 Trillion's work. I don't have the mental capacity to do what he does with those numbers and figure out all that fun stuff. I totally appreciate it. But, at the end of the day, we're looking at a model that is based on past performance, and it is always a confirmation of the here and now, and where we would go based on that confirmation of here and now. So it is very educated guesswork. And I know a lot of people will hate me for saying that, but it is. But at the same time, it is something that if you don't have a lot of confidence because you don't understand the tech yet, maybe that helps you hang on a little bit longer and learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it probably does keep people glued in, yes. But I kind of like, you come to a snap point where you flip from, am I trying to gain $1 million, or am I just simply trying to be someone with 1 Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin or whatever like that, and not worry about the dollars? Because the people who still say I'm going to be a millionaire by that stage, they haven't quite got it yet, have they? They're still trying to flip for cash.
Yeah, see.
This is the flip. There needs to be a flip in a lot of these people's heads, because a lot of them think I'm just going to be fucking dirty rich, but it's not about being dirty rich. It's about flipping into the new way, into the new money.
And that's exactly the point, Swaala, you're touching on. That's very important. It's that when Bitcoin reaches $1 million, well, the point is that we shouldn't be opting out of Bitcoin at that point.
No,
like that is the whole point.
We need double barrel shotguns at that stage.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not looking forward to if Hyperbitcoinization really does take hold. Oh fuck! I'm lucky I'm in Australia, because Australia is not that bad. But in other countries, I think it'd be bad.
So that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Because to be honest, I never really thought. I mean, okay, obviously, we obviously talk about the $5 wrench attacks and everything like that,
Yeah.
but I never really thought of it as hyper Bitcoinization could be bad in the sense
Well,
of, because if it goes to those levels, the masses, you know how it goes, right? Everybody who thought the early adopters, were lucky. And like, let's
yes,
be honest, for those people who have sat through the highs and the lows, that it
yes,
has nothing to do with luck.
yeah. I I've had a chat with Bitcoin Tina before, and he just tells me I'm just like I just need to just think it better about it, and But I see it. There will be a point in time where perhaps this becomes really utopian, and everyone is like solvent and stuff like that. But I think the transition's going to be bad,
I
personally.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be. I'd like to believe maybe Bitcoin will be the silent revolution, right? But I don't think that the people will be silent once we get to that point. It may be
Yeah.
the the moving into Bitcoin may be silent, but once
Hmm.
we get to that point, or getting to that point, that it may become violent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been to plenty of like second world countries or whatever like that. Even a mate has a girlfriend from, sorry, has a wife from Brazil, and over in Brazil, even when they're not in the favelas and stuff like that, they'll have bars on their front window and one garage door gate or something like that, and people will still climb over a glass wall, a concrete wall with glass sticking on the top, walk up over the roof, and then get into bars to get in the back room to be able to go in and steal their stuff. So, is that potentially something that's going to end up happening if we become, the ones with all the Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Are we going to end up having to build a wall and then line on top of a concrete wall with glass shards to keep people away from us? I don't know. This is why everyone talks about
The citadels.
the citadels.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that? What do you think of the citadels? I'm personally I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm a fan of it, but I definitely could see a dystopian future of citadels. I don't
Well,
think that it's implausible.
yeah, technically we are kind of, if we're going back to something that's similar to like everyone carries around like a bag of gold or something like that, then we technically are going back to something which is sort of like the days of castles and knights and stuff like that, perhaps. So maybe building castles might be a good idea, but at the same time, when I think about Australia, I think I'd probably just go out to the outback somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, so maybe
Go and get a nice 40-acre property out in the middle of the country where no one knows where you are.
yeah, see, I think there's a lot of Bitcoiners that think like that and that are doing that. I personally don't live in the city, so I completely understand.
Yep.
So actually, on that, what do you think about it? Like, would you actually want to live like the Citadel life, the one that like? Do you ever follow any of the conversations about it, or not
Yeah,
really?
I sort of chuckle about it. I don't. Look, I think we're past the dark ages.
Just a little.
Um, we'll figure out smart ways of doing it. I mean, you can hide this sort of stuff, whereas you can't hide gold. Gold sits in large sort of vaults or chests or something like right next to your daughter, which has got like 30-meter long blonde hair. You know what I mean? So that's like, we're past the days of sword fights and knights and stuff. So
All right,
I don't know.
so maybe not the citadels. Maybe not the citadels we envision like this. Maybe
Huh.
there'll be something, but it won't be this.
Maybe they'll be like, titanium walls with security cameras, that type of citadel.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean,
Um,
I work in an industry that's like pretty. That's probably gonna have some pretty big customers that are gonna need that type of security one day, and I can honestly say that the technology's definitely there to do some really crazy stuff.
yeah,
So it's pretty scary.
Yeah. Look, I don't really think I have an opinion much on it. We'll just see. We'll see. Hopefully, it's not going to be bad. But as I said, I feel okay being in Australia because Australia is pretty relaxed.
So, just a change of topic because there's something I've been meaning to ask you from the beginning. What does Swaala mean? Is it just some made up sound or?
Okay. Well, one of my first places I worked at, I had there was one of the receptionist ladies. She used to come out and talk to me, and it just popped into her head one day. She called me the full name, which I won't just display here because obviously I've erased that from my history now. But she gave me this full name, and it just popped into her head, and she just kept on calling me that for about 2 or 3 years. And
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. When I went to go and create a Twitter account, that was what I turned it into. And as I just got bigger, I guess people just started to see it, I guess.
I love it. I don't know. It's just so it's
a strange one.
It is.
I've had to change the spelling a few times because people pronounce it wrong. So whenever I hear people say it wrong, I alter the spelling just a little bit better, and then it does sound like what it actually is supposed to sound like.
So, am I even close?
Yeah. Swaala.
Swaala. All right.
Because people were calling me Swaala, and I'm like, what? Like swallow food? No, it's not swallow food. It's like Swaala.
No, it's Swaala. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
But
don't know what it means, but
it has no connection to my real name at all. It's a nickname that receptionist just gave it to me, and she just kept on shouting it every single time she saw me. So
that's awesome. I don't know. I find all of that fun, like everybody, like people that choose all these different, these different acronyms or these different names, and it's just it's super fun,
What does Coin Icarus mean?
So it's actually, you know what? I didn't want to use the word Bitcoin, and I didn't want to use the word crypto, and I've always been a huge fan of I've always been a huge fan of mysticism and philosophy and stuff. So for me, Icarus, right, which was the messenger to the gods who flew too close to the sun and burned his wings. So I liked him and just thought he was cool, and I figured, all right, Coin Icarus, you know. That's why I just figured I would use that. So it's like a coin messenger in a way.
Yes, because there is a lot of people who have there's a lot of people in the space who have got their name as either Bit something or Satoshi something, and I tell you what, they need to go out there and get a nice name like us two, just really original, just so really far original. Out there that you just because if you're just a Bit person or if you're just a Satoshi something, people aren't going to remember you because there's so many Satoshis, names out there. But if you got a name like Coin Icarus or you got a name like Swaala or something like that, it's very, 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 very out there.
I'm sorry, I had to write that down because that is so fantastic. If you're just
how so? Sorry,
I had to write that down. If you're just a Bit person, people aren't going to remember you.
Well, that's
fantastic.
I'm saying, there's too many bits. There's too many bits out there, and there's too many Satoshi names out there. So
it's true. It's true. I definitely agree. There's definitely too many.
Yep.
And it is it's pretty funny stuff. But yeah, I can tell you this: a lot of people have. I shouldn't say a lot of people, but at least 3 people have come to me and said every time they read my name, they think it says coronavirus. So that's pretty bad. That doesn't work in my favor, but it's definitely memorable. So there's that aspect of it.
I was actually going to ask, and I think I did ask in the DMs. Am I meant to wear my PPE mask during this because we're on mandates over here, and I'm talking socially here, so I should have had my mask on.
This is true. We should have had our masks on this whole time.
I know. I mean, you're probably getting a little bit of my corona just from New York to Australia here. So what's going on?
Man, vice versa. We're just spreading it right through the mic.
Oh, fucking hell.
It's brutal. Yeah, I try to. I mean,
spraying all over my screen.
I don't know about you, but I find I find all the news confusing. I don't know about you guys, but here in the States, it all depends on what political party the news station is paid by, and that'll depend on the type of news you see. It's some of the scariest shit in the world.
Yeah. No, I I think most Australian media is all in the same pathway, except for maybe Sky News. Everything in Australia is all telling the same narrative, but I kind of think about you guys. You must struggle because over there you've got your CNNs and you've got your Foxes, and they are polar opposite. So it must be really, really, really difficult to figure out what's truly going on. But our media always just feeds us the same crap. But I think a lot of our media is pretty honest. But there's a lot of, but at the moment, I still think that we're all getting scared. There's a lot of fear factor right now.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of unknown, and like there's a lot of like this differing of opinion, which creates this confusion. And then people like I never thought that the idea of wearing a mask would become a political thing. Like I never
Yeah.
thought that I would see the politicization of
Yep.
wearing a mask, and here we are today. Like where this is like a fucking problem, and you've got these people who are like out there, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to show the world I'm not going to wear a mask, and like, and you actively make a point of, going into a store and starting a fight with a person who's forcing you to wear a mask. Like it's like, listen, I totally get it, but it's like it's just not the hill to die on. Like
Yeah.
this is not the moment. Like I mean, really, like you think this is the freedom that you really need to like uphold?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think like I don't know. It's tough. It's really really tough.
Yeah. It didn't quite need to go this way because look. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's probably. I mean, even Vlad is suspecting that he's a bit sick right now.
Yeah.
I do believe it. I do believe it exists. Perhaps, I believe it certainly exists. It's taken a few people down, all that sort of stuff. And I mean, I did throw a mask on back in like maybe April or something like that when there was a little
Yep.
bit going around. So I did it willingly. I volunteered, and I mean, I even have
Same.
a bucket head. I even had a bucket head. I mean, technically, I didn't want to go to the supermarkets in my bucket head, even though Pumpkin Toshi told me I should.
I agree.
Platypus told me to go through the shopping center, but I felt that if I got on CTT camera, someone would say there was some strange person with a bucket walking through the supermarket down in yada yada town and yada yada supermarket, and I'd be like, oh fuck, just dox me, dox where I live. But no, but look, I feel that if they recommend that you go out there and do it, fine, go ahead and do it. It's potentially smart. You could be saving a lot of people, but then for them to say that you'll go out there and get fined, I think is just pushing it. Look, all they needed to say was like, we recommend that everyone wears it where possible, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I do actually. I do agree with that. I think that I think that a big part of the problem is the way that it's being framed. So
Yes.
I definitely agree with that. And to your point, I just wanted to add, like I was also wearing a mask way before they were telling anybody to wear a mask, and not that that's anything to be proud of, but I'm saying that in the sense of, I was listening to whatever I was listening to on Twitter and like certain groups. And this information was coming out way before the mainstream media was talking about coronavirus, and I'm
Yeah,
like, we
we
were
were we were seeing people like getting like dragged away in China.
right, like, and it was like way
But
before anybody was hearing shit.
yeah, everyone on Facebook was like, "Oh, sorry, what's happening in China?" But we were seeing people like getting dragged out of their house in China. So we would have thought, okay, it's time to certainly mask up. Let's think about what the borders are going to mean and stuff like that. But everyone's like, "Oh, just let people just fly into our country and don't worry about it." And I don't know. At the same time, there was a couple of airplanes flying in from Beijing to America and to Australia, bringing masks. I'm like, I don't think I want them here. I think I'd like them to fly them back. Wouldn't you think that? Would you think that this is the right time to be receiving it, stuff like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of coincidences, and I hate the term conspiracy theory, right? Because that is created on purpose in order to incite doubt. and confusion. So we know it's, conspiracy theory itself is a bullshit term. But, it's just, you have these alignment of events and you have these things that are happening and they're all happening in a specific sequence coincidentally. It's just, it's like, you don't want to sound like a nut, but like, we all start to sound like nuts.
I think we are all starting to sound like nuts just for being truthful. Anyway, I think we should change topic because we probably lost half of our listeners.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay.
We're just shooting the shit, man. Let's talk about some Bitcoin.
No worries. Come on back.
So I think that so I'm hoping that everyone liked the poster I went and made for everyone. I went out there and did that too because I really wanted to sort of give that as a gift to everyone who's like mostly Bitcoin and stuff like that because obviously I'm friends with Mr. Anderson. I'm obviously follow him. We follow each other, and he went and brought out the crypto Twitter one, and I thought that's awesome. I want to be on it and stuff like that. And also, I noticed I went and collected all the HODL knot faces and jammed them all together on one big poster as well. Because remember when everyone changed to HODL knot for a few weeks?
Yep.
So I jammed all that together, and then I saw that the bloody XRP guys have got a poster which had 1,000 people all stuck on there. I love what BTC Sessions Ben Sharon said. He said, "Oh, that's all XRP bots." Which I thought was hilarious. But I thought, shit, these guys got 1,000 people on their poster. I'm thinking, Bitcoin needs one now, like now. We can't go any further without it. And I mean, I had lots of people say, "Oh, remove this person, they're a shitcoin," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I can't please everyone. I just can't please everyone." There was plenty of people on there who were like, majority Bitcoin and stuff like that, but they were still getting torn down by people who were purists and I'd never heard of before. I was like, I don't even know who you are. So, who are you to judge someone who's been in since 2011? I just don't fucking know.
It's tough. And by the way, send me a link to. I think you put that out in a tweet. If you could send me a link to it, so we could add it to the show notes.
Yes, well, there is a tweet, but the best way to go is to Bitcoin Jake's allaboutbtc.com.
So
on there, so if you go to Bitcoin Jake 09's website, you can actually download 4 different versions. So you can download one which is about maybe that size of your computer screen. You can download one which is probably the size of a large sort of print, like a big blueprint or something like that. And then you can download one which is 4 meters wide.
So definitely send me that link so we could add it to the show notes, because I am sure the listeners will want to get that. That's very cool.
And for free, it's out there. And that XRP guy was one to charge like people $80 for a digital copy.
Well, of course, because
something like that.
It's you don't expect much from shitcoiners, especially not the XRP bot army.
Yes,
can't expect much from them.
Yes.
So, before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave with the listeners?
I don't know. I believe people need to keep it simple. They need to, the best way to avoid, paying tax in this thing is to not trade. So just simply buy and stop and just don't sell. That's my best advice, because there are far more to people who are out there going leverage and all that sort of stuff. But realistically, even if you profit, you're going to have to pay your capital gains on that shit anyway. So why not just simply buy and just never sell? Much better. And keep it simple. Just send everything to a wallet. Maybe spread your wallets out. So I wouldn't go and put your entire stack in one wallet, because if they steal that, they've got everything. That's my best advice.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's about it.
Very cool, man. Swaala, thank you very much for coming on my pod. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. This is my first one, so let's hope there's more to come.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? I'm honored and absolutely proud that you chose to come on my podcast and for us to have a nice little
I'm
chat.
honored that I came in, so we're both honored.
Sweet. Cheers.
See you later.
Later. Hope everybody enjoyed our little chat. Look for Swaala's contact details in the show notes. And of course, if you want to reach me on Telegram or Twitter, I'm at Coinicarus. If you want to shoot me an email, I am coinicarus@funwithbitcoin.com. Thank you all for listening and catch you all next time.